Hello. So I plan to attempt this build your own shell challenge now. The last playlist of mine was on Redis. Now I plan to do build your own shell, primarily because it's free this month. So maybe you can code along with me if you like. How I'm going to structure it is I'm going to first record entire large chunks of videos, and then maybe I'll edit it down to only the required parts. So you can skip this video if you want. I believe it's going to be a long one, and I plan to show all my research that I do while building it. I've never tried it before. Uh, there will be probably a lot of reading that I'll be doing in these videos, so it's kind of like a coding vlog. Uh, so yeah, let's just start building. Anyways, in this challenge, we'll be building a shell, which is a command line interface. I believe you'd know what a command line interface is. And it's POSIX compliant. POSIX, I believe, it's just a specification for a shell. So if you want to know how shell, if you want to know the entire syntax and the language, like how to write shell scripts, you can read through this. I don't want to. I'll just use AI. So instead of that, I'd much rather just copy everything, paste it to ChatGPT or something, and then ask it questions, and then it can tell it me the specific things that I want to know specifically because I don't need everything to solve this challenge. Anyways, you can start building, and I'm at the repository setup phase. Let me stop the recording. I'll be right back. Okay, so I stopped the recording because I needed to log into GitHub, and then now it's on my other browser, so I don't expose my password. Anyways, all I did was uh, run this command, and now I can run this command, and that will initialize the repository for us. And not just that, I want to be able to push code to my own GitHubs, and that's why I'll be adding this origin as well. Give it a second. This should fail. Yeah, it failed. Anyways, git remote add GitHub. I'll be I'll be updating all the code on GitHub in this repo. I'll add the link to it in the description. And I can do a git push on GitHub. Okay, so with that, I believe all the code is now on my GitHub as well, and you can track along if you want to via this repo. I'll be pushing all the code here. Anyways, let's read through what it's required of us. Since this is the first stage, we have included some commented code that will help you get started. To pass the stage, simply uncomment the code and submit your changes. Let me open it in IntelliJ. It's in desktop, CodeCrafters, shell. Open on this window. So this is the code that they give us, the boilerplate code. And they have some, wow. Uncomment this block to pass the first stage. That all? Since this is navigate to, you can run this command, it will open it in VS Code. I don't use VS Code. All we need to do is uncomment this. What is actually required of us? How will they be testing our code? They'll run our program. The tester will then check whether the shell prints a dollar. Wow. Okay. So all we needed to do was uncomment, and what else? The output. Submit. Yeah, just commit and push. I'm not running the code on WSL, so I won't be using this. You'll implement a shell prompt. Okay, with this, we tell the user to enter a command. That's it. So all we need to do is print a dollar sign. Okay, so let's just commit and push. Let's go to the next stage. Handle valid commands. In this stage, you'll handle invalid commands in your shell. For now, treat all commands as invalid. Huh? Step over to your IDE. To pass this stage, you'll need to add a wait for the tester to enter a command, and you need to print out an error message. Okay, so we need to read a command, and for any command, just need to print out the command name and command not found. Okay. Doesn't matter about the print. Okay. Diwali scanner string. Huh? This is already reading, right? Is it not? And then it doesn't matter whatever. What the hell? Read eval print loop. In this stage, you'll implement a read eval print loop. A REPL is an interactive loop that reads user input, evaluates it, and prints the result, and then waits for the next input. So if you know how the shell works, is it keeps on waiting for a command. So I believe we should be good with a thread blocking scanner dot next string next line, something like that. And I can just add it in a while infinite loop. I think so. Let's just add a while infinite loop. Is this all? Why are the initial stages so simple? They could have merged these into one single stage. I don't know. I think so. You are in queue. Upgrade to skip the wait. So yeah, my subscription has ended. I had a subscription. That is another reason where that I'm doing a free challenge. Is my subscription has expired. I need to buy a new subscription for CodeCrafters. I believe if I had an active subscription, I would be in a premium members only queue. But now it puts me into a general queue. My submission. In this stage, you'll implement the exit built-in command. The tester will execute your program like so. It will then send an invalid command to your shell followed by the exit command. After issuing the exit command, the tester will verify whether the program has terminated with okay. So I need to make sure my program terminates. How to make program terminate? Let me see. Perplexity. Let's ask Perplexity how to make a Java program terminate with. So simply system.exit. Okay. And what does exit? What does the zero mean in the shell command? Exit zero. In the shell command, exit the zero is the exit status code. If I provide one, then is it failing? Some kind, yeah, some kind of error. Okay. So I think we should be doing some kind of domain-driven architecture because I cannot use a switch case for different commands. Why is that? Because shell has a command called alias, and with that alias we can set aliases basically for other commands. So if I were to have a static switch case, I would not be able to handle aliases. For that, I think we should be using a hash map where the key is the string and the value is an object of the. Should it be an object? Or should be a tuple? Hmm. I do not need an object if my command classes are static classes. Like if I have an exit command class and it's a static class, then I can have an execute method in it, and I can have an execute method in all commands, in all command classes. But then why do I need an object? Do I even need an object? Can I do a lazy initialization? So I'll not keep those methods static. Instead, I'll do a lazy initialization of those objects. So, but how will I know? I'll have to initialize all the commands that I'm supporting and add them to a hash map. Kind of like dependency injection, but yeah, it is kind of like dependency injection, but manual through a hash map. Okay. It'll be an interface. So I have a base class. I think interface is fine because I'm not going to be sharing any implementation. Call it a command. Is it a void? Or do I return something? There can be void as well. It doesn't return anything. So I need a void execute as well and a string execute. What if I don't keep a void? I think this is fine for now. But what if it takes a parameter as this takes a parameter as well, right? It's not always zero. How about instead I take string args? Hmm. What if I send a bunch of parameters to the exit command? What happens then? Too many arguments. didn't work. So the length must be 1. So can I assert and then surround it with a try catch? Otherwise, I'll just throw. Too many arguments exception. I should surround it with a try catch, but I don't know what does it return. It returns math exception or what? Number format exception. And exit I. But it did work. So if there are too many arguments, I'm not going to do any exiting. But if hmm, numeric argument exception, numeric argument required. So there may be other commands as well that require only numeric. So I'll create an exception for this. Numeric argument required exception. Numeric argument required exception. we are doing a system.exit anyways. Can I not have a system.exit? How about instead of throwing exceptions, I just print, because that's what WSL is doing. It's printing, it's not actually throwing exception, it's just printing and exiting anyways. But it's not exiting in case there are too many. So what I'll do is I'll create another method. Doesn't need to return anything. Your system.exit on 0 tells if this is the case. Then instead of I can just south. And return false.
In this case as well. Returning true nonetheless. Am I doing a lot of premature optimizations? We should just focus on this working first. The hell is the error? Missing return statement, but I am returning in else. Eh? Instead of returning a boolean, I'll what exception is it? In not implemented exception in. Execute, we do a check on args, and if it is success, we exit with the exit code. In the check args, I am creating a status report, by default setting it to false and exit code 1. Okay, if then we exit with 0 immediately. How about instead of doing that, I do status report dot exit code 0, status report dot success equal to true, and I just return with the status report. If args.length is greater than 1, then too many arguments, and we return with false. Okay. Otherwise, success is true and exit code is whatever the exit code was passed to it. Big static. Make it private. Now in here I can. What happens if I write exit with capital letters only? Only E small. Okay. So right now it's returning a string. What I'll do is we can return a string array. Except 0. empty array ना कोई no exception. Okay. Should I be doing dependency injection with qualifier for different commands? Like inject them as a singleton? I think this is fine for now. I'll do that later if required. Let's try and push it. I think this should work. Just fast. This is some over engineering. All this is not required. Maybe I'll improve the architecture later, but this is what came to my mind right now. Instead of this handle command, I want to have a command executor service or something like that. Maybe, let's see. But that is fine for now. How long have I been recording for? Not sure, let me check. 46 minutes. Okay, let's move on to the next one. The echo built-in command. What does echo do when we do not pass any args? Nothing. Is it a new line? I don't want to read the whole spec. The POSIX spec. Okay. Gucci, Gucci. So this won't do anything. Only just move to the next. And here we print whatever the args are. Join args. Like so. Instead of this, I think I should be expecting parsed command here instead of this args. That way we can remove this method. Na 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 na. Why do I have it if I'm not even using it? So I'll move the parsed command to here. Parsed command will be inaccessible from main.handle command. I'll make it public. instead of args, I'll be taking parsed command and in the exit command. And args can be equal to parsed command dot args. Is everything else fine? Yeah. In the echo, I'll be expecting args are empty.
Bruh, चल जा भाई. God damn it, do I need to expected prompt but received echo? Command not found. What? Oh, should this be it? Why is it so slow now? Okay. The type built in. I don't know what type command does. The type built in is used to determine how a command would be interpreted if used. Type echo. Okay. It's a common thing, so it should be part of the interface. Void type first command. I need that for the arg. Bruh.
It's becoming convoluted now. Type command. It implements command. I do not need it right now. And I'll add the execute method. And what happens if nothing? Command not found. So it needs. So I need to pass in this supported commands to type. How can I do that? I know how I can do that. What the hell am I doing? Create constructor. Oh, so I was right. There should be a type. But oh, इसमें मेरे को लूप लगाना पड़ेगा. I'll be right back. Does not match what? Command not found. I need to remove this bash type. Here's my code. I can remove this. Hoochie Goochie, Hoochie Goochie. अरे यार, no. So these are like path variables that you add for executables. I think my code architecture is fine. Seems to be working fine for me. I'll push it on GitHub. In this stage, you'll extend the type built-in to search for executable files using path. Path is an environment variable that specifies a set of directories where executable programs are located. When a command is received, the program should search for the command in the directories listed in the path environment variable. If the command is in this stage, extend the type built-in to search for executable files using path. So are these paths my own environment variables of my system, or do I need to provide? No, these are being provided to my what? The tester will execute your program with a custom path like so. It will then send a series of type commands. Okay. Developers on Windows might fail the test. Note the difference in path variable structure. Windows uses as a separator while Linux uses. It might be confused in this part. It means that you update the path variable in your actual shell and check it in your written. Huh? Okay, it's just running right. I don't know what this does. Sets the environment variable temporarily for this session. Sets path environment variable for just one command. Means user bin first place to look for executables, second place to look for executables, then all the directories already in your path replaced by a current path value. Runs the script named in the current directory. So it updates the path for my session temporarily. Okay, so it overriding the directories where we should look for executables. Okay, so I should be looking in these. And what is these are the directories where my executables are. Hmm. This is where I need to be looking for executables. Okay. So ls can be in any one of these directories, and I need to find if there is. So I need to get all children directories of these paths and then check एक एक करके. Perplexity. Control C, Control T. Lord. So it's for the type command. जब मैं type करूँगा, then I need to check in the directories as well. If it's not in the hash map, then it needs to be in the path variables. So क्या हो गया? एक्सपेक्टेड बट रिसीव्ड। प्रिंट नहीं करना ना। प्रिंट क्यों कर रहा हूँ मैं? Type cat exception in thread main cannot invoke. Output does not cannot invoke because this dot path d. Why the error? This dot path directory is this. Why the hell? Cannot iterator. कहाँ पे error आया ये? Export path equals to path is no. काम करता हूँ. ठीक तो है. ठीक है. बात तो ठीक है मेरे ख्याल से. एरर क्या था पहले? बिकॉज दिस डॉट पाथ डी, क्या ये वो है? क्योंकि एरर डॉट हैश लिस्ट कर रहा हूँ. इम्यूटेबल. डॉट कलेक्ट डॉट लिस्ट. अब ये म्यूटेबल रहेगी. इस नल. मैंने किस पे लूप लगा दिया बे? कमांड लोकेशंस. No, I'm using it right here. What? Worked. I need to spawn another process. How to spawn another process from an executable? Runtime dot exec. Okay. ठीक है इसको अगला करते हैं. I will be doing this next. I have other things to do right now. I'll get back to you. Maybe I'll upload this video or maybe I will extend this video itself. We'll see. Okay, see you in the next one. Maybe. Or maybe the video continues. Stick around and see. Okay, I'm back. Maybe I'll stitch these videos together. Maybe not. Anyways, so we are building a shell from scratch and I've added the support for all these stages in the previous video and I am going to be supporting now running a program through shell. So in this stage, external programs are located using the path variable as described in the previous stage. The tester will run a program and then it will send a command. Now this command should be mapped to a path variable. Alright. And from that path variable we'll get the executable. And the executable is getting an argument called Alice. So program was passed two arguments including program name. arg0 program name and arg1 Alice program signature. Okay. The command in the example will be present in the path and will be an executable file. The executable file will print the information about the arguments it was passed along with the random program signature. The tester will verify that the program prints output from the executable. The program name, the arguments, and the expected output will be random for each test case. Okay, so we already have ways of checking if a particular command is there in the path, and it's right here. Now it's there in the type command, but I also need it. What if I make it public and then type command? I can check if that type exists. Huh. If I make it public, I can use this. Should I? No, I don't think so. What I'll do is, what should I do? Exceptions aren't being used anywhere, right? I don't think so. I can delete it. Yeah. So I need this logic out from this class. What I'll do is I'll create a utils package, utils, and command utils, and in here I will create public static boolean check command in path, and it will take a string command check command in path. string command and list of string paths. Why is it throwing error? Okay, check control X. I'll keep it in both places for now. If it's required in more places than two, then I'll think of an abstraction. But right now, I think this is fine. And instead of returning true and false, I'll just return list of string, and that will be, if it's not empty, I'll just return command locations. How about I return command locations anyway? Return command locations, and I think now I can check in path command utils dot check command in path directories. Let's just do this. Now it is fine, I think. Okay, now I have this logic of getting the paths in this utils class and handle command. If it is in supported commands, I can check. Else, if that is not the case, list of, is it? Instead of paths. What's the error? Cannot resolve symbol path directories? Do I need to handle path directories as well? Path directories, and it should get. Hmm. If command locations dot is empty, in that case we do this. But if that is not the case, else we use this process builder, right? And arguments like so. Dot redirect output, redirect error. Anyways, uh,
that is not the case, I will run executable. Okay, and it will take the command and command locations. In here, I will use process builder and an executable path should be command locations. Multiple executables found. How does shell handle it? Okay. Multiple executables found. What if there are multiple executables found? Home user. If a shell finds multiple executables, it will execute the first one. So, thing- multiple executables found and string executable path like so. Uh-huh. And arguments arrays dot as list. How to handle this exit code? What the hell? Arrays dot as list. What the hell? Okay, so we should be returning this exit code.
handle. It's not required of us right now, right? Okay. And process builder, process builder, args, string array तो है, arguments dot add one. What is command? Huh. Oh shit. This should run the executable. And what is the error? Uh-huh. Should I add them to handle command and we try interrupted exception is because of process. What should we do if an error happens, if an IO exception happens? What should we do? And what if an interrupted exception happens? How should we do it? You know what? I'll collapse it for now. Let's see if it works. Bear with me, guys. I don't want to spend 10,000 rupees on a subscription. We'll just have to persevere through this wait. क्या हो गया? Expected, received. Why? Let me see what the issue is, and I'll get back to you. Okay, I think I know what the issue is. We just see I'm passing the entire path to the process builder. Instead of that, I should be passing this file dot file name, kind of like that. So what we can do is right here, I'll get a file from that executable path, and if not executable or not executable that can execute is not executable, return one. Otherwise, string process name executable dot get name, and this should be it. Let's try this.
Let's see if it works. It's working fine, perfectly fine. Okay, so we completed the base stages of build your own shell. I'll be making videos on these next. So see you in the next one. Bye bye.